watch people to call you in the ministry and have little babies up preaching. My pastor used to say all the time, you can tell when a preacher is just way out there because they want everybody preaching, the whole congregation preaching and nobody in the audience. But we cannot call people or promote people. God has to call and to promote. That's why I'm not quick to tell people that God, said he's going to use you here, because that's one of the tricks the enemy use. Those slick preachers that want to get people to come to their conferences. They know how to get you to come because they get the reputation that, if you come, they're going to prophesy over you or prophesy over you. They're going to tell you that God called you to preach. And people with an itching ear want to hear something that sounds good. But if you don't have God's backing, if you don't have God's promotion or God's approval, then it's still not going to work. It's not going to work. But we're in that time where people think that they're in the business of promotion, but promotion comes from God, not from man. We cannot promote anybody. It will not work. You can speak it, but it's not going to work unless God gives the approval. Now I'm going to get off of this, but one thing I've always wondered, I got to ask the question, I don't need a response from you, but I want you to think about this. Why is it that most of the time women love to call people to preach? That's who it really is most of the time. You get a few men do it, but in my experience, my pastor used to tell us that all the time. Said women, like most women preachers, not everybody, but most women preachers love to see everybody preaching. Boy, they call the whole congregation up to preach if they could. Not every woman does that, but a lot of them do. And my question is, why is that? But that is something that happens, and regardless of the gender, we should not call people, but that's God's promotional call. That's God's authority. That's God's business. We should not be in the business of calling people, because it won't work unless God approves of it. Now let me get back to my text.
All right now, Pastor.
Now Balak here is finding out that God's people are not going to go the way he wants them to go. He's finding out that he does not control what God is doing, but he's trying to use the man of God to try to get God to go with what he wants to promote his own agenda. You see, that's the same way sometimes people try to come to the pastor when they've missed their tithes and they've been cursed, and they want the pastor to pray the curse off. It doesn't work. Because whoever God bless is blessed, and also whoever God curse is cursed until God removes the curse. You must know that. It won't work. But this is what Balak tried to do. He understood that Balaam was a man of God, and when he blesses somebody, God honors who he blesses. But what Balak didn't know is that Balaam always blesses only those that God tells him to bless. But Balak thought that he could get around God because he felt that if I can get Balaam to curse my enemies, then they're going to be cursed. But what he didn't understand, that Balaam had to answer to God. He just couldn't bless anybody and expect God to honor what he blesses or who he curses. He had to understand that Balaam had commandments of God, so Balaam had to do what God says. How many know that we can't do it our way, but it has to be done God's way? Yes. And so here Balak decided that he's going to send messengers to Balaam. And he sent messengers to tell Balaam to come to me, and if you come and curse my enemies, he said, I'm going to promote you in my kingdom. He said, I'm going to give you what you want, what you need, but just come and curse my enemies, because if you curse them, I know God is going to honor it, and I know I'll have victory if you do it. So then Balaam began to tell the servants of King Balak. He said, tell him that don't he know I can't do anything God don't tell me to do? I cannot curse whom God don't tell me to curse. And he said, I cannot come with you because God will not honor me to do anything that he don't want me to do. And so then Balak men went back and told King Balak that Balaam said no deal. He says, I'm not coming because I can only speak what God allows me to speak. Yes, Lord. And so then the king is disturbed. And at this time he get more honorable men and he send them. He said, now you go and talk to Balaam. And he said, now I want you to tell Balaam that not only am I going to promote him, but I give him whatever he asks for. But just come and curse my enemies, the Israelite, and I'll do whatever he wants me to do for him. I'll give it to him. Balaam told King Balak's messengers, he said, tell him this. He said, even if he give me his whole house full of gold and silver, that I still can't do what God don't allow me to do. I cannot curse who God don't want me to curse, and I cannot bless who God don't want me to bless.
Come on now.
But then the angel of the Lord spoke to Balaam. He said, have the men to spend the night. And he said, the next day I want you to go, and then I want you to go. If they still inquire, go with them. Don't worry about it, just go with them. And everything's going to be all right. Just go on with them. If they're still inquiring, go with them. And so the Bible says, I need somebody. Okay, deacon. Little Xavier, come here. Now the Bible says, the next day, now you're going to be Balaam today. You all know this is their last day here with us, right? We'll tell you more about it. You're going to be Balaam before you leave, all right? That's a great man of God. The good L.I.G. Jones taught me this. The Honorable L.I.G. Jones, the late Elder I.G. Jones taught me this. So you all know what this is, don't you? I need you to put him on your back. Come on, get on his back. The Lord told Balaam to go with them in the morning. And he got on his donkey. And he began to go with Balaam. He began to go with Balak's men. This is Balaam, and his donkey is taking him very slow. Now you got to do it right now. And he's going with the men of Balak to see King Balak. But along the way, the donkey turns around and starts going the other way, and Balak's hit him and say, turn back around. Hit him on the shoulder. So turn back around. And then, as they're journeying again, the donkey turns back around. And Balaam is upset and hit him again. I didn't tell you to go that way. And then the third time, he turns and goes the opposite way again. And he hit him one more time. And he turns back around. Now this time, the Lord began to talk through the donkey. And the donkey says, now, why are you hitting me? Haven't I been your ride, your servant all these years, taking you places? And haven't I gone everywhere you wanted me to take you? But all of a sudden, you're going to hit me now? And he said, I hadn't done anything to disobey you all this time. If I'm not going where you want me to go, don't you know it must be something wrong? This is the donkey talking. God opened the mouth of the donkey to talk to Balaam, the man of God. It's theatrical. Because what Balaam was not seeing, because God hadn't opened his eyes to see it, is that there was an angel that God sent to stop him from going to King Balak. So every time the donkey, because the donkey could see the angel and Balaam couldn't. And the angel would raise his hand up to strike him, and the donkey would turn around. And so finally, after the donkey talks to Balaam, Balaam is upset because he's trying to find out why his donkey is talking, and who is he to talk to me like this? You my animal, you don't talk to me like that. I own you, in so many words. But then the Bible says God take the scales off of Balaam's eyes, and Balaam can see the angel. And the angel says, if the donkey had not turned around, he said, I would have killed you. I was going to slay you. But the donkey turned around because he saw me, but you couldn't. And instead of you hurting him, you should be thanking him.